And you do 100% feel that the police department fabricated your statement at that crash scene?
Yes.
It's a story you'll see only on KFOX 14. El Paso police may have been caught in a lie. 4 people tell KFOX 14 the information filed in a wreck involving a police officer is not factual. Good evening. I'm Iraca Castillo.
And I'm John Purvis. First on Fox tonight. That accident happened at the intersection of Dyer and Fred Wilson in northeast El Paso last Friday night. A driver who collided with a police cruiser there says the police officer involved accuses her of speeding and running a red light, causing a 5-car collision. But she and the other drivers involved tell a very different story than the officer. KFOX 14 News at 9's Bill Melugin investigated and joins us live from northeast El Paso.
Well, several of the cars involved in the crash at this intersection are now totaled. Police say a woman ran this red light, slammed into a police officer who then spun his unit out and hit 2 other cars. Now, everybody I talked to in this crash, I was able to track down every single one of them. They all say that it was actually the police officer who ran this red light, and they all say the police are completely lying about what happened here.
I don't know how many times I've broken down and cried because, of course, I'm going up against the police department.
Allison asks that we don't show her face, but wants to tell her story. Police accuse her of causing this accident involving one of their officers Friday night, but their story doesn't add up. Allison says she was dropping someone off when she approached Dyer and Fred Wilson.
The light was red, so I had come to a stop. I was only there for about a few seconds, and then it turned green, and I barely started to accelerate.
She says that's when an El Paso police unit came flying through a red light without any lights or sirens and smashed into her car.
The thing that I recall is just seeing the police logo right in front of me, and of course I had no time to react. That's just how fast he was going.
She says she hit the driver's side of the police car. It then spun out and hit 2 other cars. I managed to get the police report. It says investigating officer Leilani Ramos wrote that Allison was the one who ran the red light. She cited her for that and gave her a speeding ticket.
In the police report, it's clearly stated that I was the one who ran the red light and that I was the one who was speeding, which is completely false. It was, I know, the police officer who...
That officer is Joshua Rucker. He just graduated from the academy in February. Rucker was taking 2 women to jail for traffic warrants at the time of the crash. One of them reached out to us over social media. She says Officer Rucker caused the crash by running a red and didn't ask them if they were okay. A clerk at a gas station at the intersection says she saw it all happen. She didn't have permission to talk to us, but she says it was clearly the officer who caused the crash.
I just saw the police car coming off with the lights off, and then the woman was driving the right way, and then he just crashed into her.
The clerk says she routinely sees cops flying through the intersection with their lights off.
So, just in summary, you say the cop was speeding and was going with his lights off and flew through that intersection, and you believe it was the cop's fault based off what you saw?
Yes.
With 3 people disputing the police department's version of events, I reached out to them and asked for a response. I was told they would investigate, but that according to the police report, the 2 other drivers in the crash said Allison was the one at fault. I first tracked down Nicole Austin. She's identified as Unit 4 in the report.
I went to go through the intersection when I had a green light. I heard a collision as well as a lot of tires screeching, brakes, and I looked up to my left and saw a police officer spinning out of control, and that's when he slammed into my driver's side door and my front end of my car.
Her black Mercedes was totaled in the crash. None of her statements can be found in the police report, a report she says is a flat-out lie.
It's very inaccurate. It says I was sitting at a red light, and that never happened.
She also directly disputed the police version of events.
From your point of view, who was at fault for the crash?
The police officer, definitely. There was no way he could have been crossing on a caution, anything like that, because of the time I had a green light. I don't believe there's any way, other than he ran the red light causing the whole collision.
Last came Pedro Medina, identified as Unit 3 in the police report. The report says he was the one who accused Allison of speeding and causing the crash, but in a phone conversation, He told me he actually never said that and that police fabricated his statement.
The reality, I pulled up to the light going eastbound on Fred Wilson, and I had my left blinker on. My light was red. The lights on Fred Wilson were green, so all the lights on Dyer by default were red, and the cop was coming down Dyer. So there was no physical way that that cop could have got hit, or the rest of us, if he didn't run the red light.
He also said the officer was speeding without any sirens or lights, and that he reported this to the investigating officer.
My opening statement, when they asked me, I was like, yes, the cop ran the red light, and they were like, what do you think? Are you sure? Do you see?
Now he's directly accusing the police of lying about what he said.
And you do 100% feel that the police department fabricated your statement at that crash scene?
Yes.
In a response today, police told me, quote, the police report was documented based on the information the reporting officer had at the time. It now appears there is conflicting information between what was told to multiple officers at the scene and what the involved parties are now saying after the fact. Everyone involved in the crash says police have to tell the truth about what happened that night.
I would love for the police to own up to their mistakes instead of trying to put it all on the other vehicles.
I just want them to admit that they were wrong and take care of all the damages that they have done, and, you know, of course, take care of everybody else that was involved.
And for Allison, relief.
I'm just so glad that I have witnesses that can confirm what I experienced, what I saw that night, because I can only just imagine how they're going to try to turn this around on me.
Now, police told me Allison will get a chance to fight her citations in court. They said that a traffic report is basically just a summary of a collision, and then culpability is later determined in a court of law. I also asked police directly what's their reaction, what's their response to being accused of fabricating a police report, but I did not get an answer. Reporting live in Northeast El Paso, Bill Melugin, KFOX 14, News at 9.